spirit of the gospel and Carmelite tradition. This year's speaker has portrayed both Sonny Bono and the Tin Man on stage. So this year's role as Baccalaureate Speaker shouldn't be a challenge. He's been training for this night since his own high school career, during which he won Best Float in the homecoming parade 4 years in a row as president of the Future Educators in Action Club. His experience raising grand champion steers, chicken, and sheep during his 10-year participation in 4-H no doubt prepared him for the challenges and smells of teaching at Crestview. And his status as collegiate champion of Super Smash Bros. No doubt earned him instant credibility among students. In 7th grade, he forgot to do a history project and instead performed an impromptu a cappella version of We Didn't Start the Fire. So everybody get ready just in case this turns into a sing-along. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Joshua.
Just to point out, the 7th grade teacher was not impressed with me and started fire. And I want to apologize if I sound funny. I've been battling this cough for the last few days, and it's not going through puberty like Jared Hoffman and Armand Bissecchi said I was. It happened a lot. In his prologue of the rule, St. Benedict writes, "Listen carefully, my son, to the master's instructions, and attend to them with the ear of your heart. This is advice from a father who loves you. Welcome it and faithfully put it into practice." I echo the words of St. Benedict tonight to you, class of 2015. Everything that I say to you is nothing more but reflections and advice from a teacher who loves you. The world promises you this life of supposed luxury. Fame, fortune, sex, drugs, ridiculous cars, all of these things. It promises you a comfortable existence. But my friends, you were not made for comfort. You were made for greatness. After you graduate, you will enter a world that is very different from the halls of Crestview Carmelite High School. You will find a place that is constantly looking inward. We don't care about what happens to people in a country thousands of miles away. We don't care about the homeless on Skid Row. We don't care that in our modern and civilized society, racism, sexism, abuse, and religious persecution continue to happen. And as long as it doesn't affect us, we choose to ignore it. We stay in our happy little bubble, ignoring the calamities that go on around us. We think we are special because Eric Sondheimer mentions us on Twitter, or our 4th grade soccer trophy told us that we were winners. We slowly adapt to this mold that society has built for us. We wonder why there is so much turmoil and pain in the world, but we are afraid to look beyond ourselves to do something. I ask you, my brothers, stop that cycle. Stop the cycle of selfishness. I ask that you go out into this world and do good. For those of you who are particular about grammar, you may say, but Mr. Leeuw, don't you mean we should go out and do well? No. I mean go out there and do good. We have enough people in this world who do well. Our world is being pervaded by a culture of death and abuse. The good is dying. If you decide to continually make up excuses and continue in bad habits or reckless behavior, or let the culture of death, racism, prejudice, economic inequality, bigotry, sexism continue, your time here meant nothing. Fellas, you have to care about others. You have to care about the world around you. Dr. Seuss said it best in his classic book, The Lorax, that unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Live your lives differently from in society that so wallows in the macabre, the mundane, and the irrational. Gandhi tells us that we must be the change we want to see in the world. It takes courage to live differently, but it is a life so much more rewarding. I am not asking you to be perfect, but I am asking you to be and to do good. Goodness can be manifested in little ways. Hold the door for someone as you walk through. Smile at the cashier at Ralph's. Tell the barista at Starbucks, her name is Claudia, that she did a great job on her coffee. Give some spare change to the Salvation Army when they are ringing their bells at Christmas time. Little things build up to greater things. Do not be afraid to stand up for the good. So often when people stand up for the good, they are mocked or persecuted for their beliefs. We see it currently in the Christians in the Middle East who are being destroyed by radical Islam. We saw it in Pope Paul VI after he wrote Humanae Vitae. I see it in your classmates who live differently and don't get into the traps of peer pressure. These people live and act differently because deep down, they know that there is something better than the fleeting pleasures that our society says is owed to them. Their conscience echoes the great Archbishop Fulton Sheen, who once said, "What the world needs is a voice that is right, not when the world is right, but a voice that is right when the world is wrong." My brothers, never be afraid to do good. Be that voice that stands up and challenges the evil that is encroaching upon our world. You may face a chorus of opposition, but never ever be afraid to be the lone voice of goodness. Goodness is intrinsically tied to love. We must love all, and this is a huge task and it is very hard. Love freely and without compromise. Love with all your hearts and love everyone you meet. We do not know the stories and struggles of every single person. Your kindness, your joke, or whatever could brighten their day. Though this kind of love may not always be met with the same reciprocation, that's okay. We must give love freely, and we must receive love freely. It can never be forced. Our greatest need is mutual charity, love, and loyalty to each other. It is the only way to solve problems, give cooperation, and have peace. My favorite book is called A Prayer for Owen Mead by John Irving. And in it, the title character Owen says, "If you care about something, you have to protect it. If you're lucky enough to find a way of life and love, you have to find the courage to live it. Live a life that furthers the good in this world. Find what you are passionate about in life and use it to do good." I'm sure many of you have plans or roadmaps on what the next 4 years or so are going to look like. The roadmaps you have for your life, I can assure you, will not go perfectly as planned. No matter how hard you try, the best laid plans will not be followed perfectly. Occasionally, we have to take the detour. Sometimes these detours on the roadmap will be welcomed. They will bring you great joy and peace of soul. But other times they will be unpleasant. Your dreams may get postponed, your heart may get broken, or the worst of all, someone you love will disappoint you. These things happen, and they are terrible. In these dark moments, we can say that goodness is dead, and what's the point of being good if bad things happen? But my brothers, that's not the end of the journey. The great learning moment here is how we handle these hurdles, these roadblocks. We can either let them bog us down and make us angry, bitter men who have hearts full of hatred and regret, or we can take these moments and learn from them. We can take these moments and use them to become better. Our 35th President, John F. Kennedy, once said, "Do not pray for easier lives, pray to be stronger men." Defeat, humiliation, despair, betrayal, these are terrible things. I'm not going to sugarcoat that for you. But what can we learn from them? We can learn so much about ourselves in these moments, and we can take them and grow. We can change. We do not let them control us, but instead we take these rough patches in stride and mature and grow and become wiser. I hate to be the first person to tell all of you this, but you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm still learning too, and I'm still processing different events and asking God to help me understand how they're supposed to fit into who I am. This is uncomfortable for us. In our world, where we can be instantly gratified, sometimes there are questions which are not answered right away. But do not agonize over these questions in your heart, but live them. For as the great German poet Rainer Maria Rilke says, "You are so young. So before all beginning, and I want to beg you as much as I can, be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is this, to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Your time in these classrooms has ended. Crespi can no longer give you the answers. It is time, my brothers, to seek the answers, to live the answers, and to be the answers. And I know you have the potential to be the answers. Because when I prayed to God 2 years ago to show me where I was supposed to go next, what I was supposed to do, He answered my prayer with you. And yes, we've had ups and downs, but every day I thank God for one of the greatest gifts He has ever given me, the class of 2015. You were the answer of the prayer of my heart. Together, you and I have Crespi. You are all going off to varying colleges, and I am going back to religious life to study for the priesthood. But the bonds of brotherhood forged here at Crespi will always keep us together. Crespi is a place for us of great love, great memories, and great friendships. Crespi is our home. Home isn't where you live. Home is where you belong. My brothers, you will always belong at Crespi. And perhaps, someday in the future, much like the old song says, we'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. But tonight is not about saying goodbye. Tonight is about saying thank you. Thank you for helping make Crespi Carmelite High School great. Thank you for being one of the most amazing group of young men I have ever encountered. Thank you for the great honor of letting me into your lives as teacher. Thank you for making me a better educator, a better Christian, and a better man. Thank you for changing my life in every single way imaginable. I will never, ever be able to repay you for the great joy and the great love you have done in my life. Know that I will be praying for you all as you go on the next step of your journey. May God bless you.